Imagine being told you still have your honor, but only if you die for it. Not in battle, not defending your family, but on command. In a quiet room, surrounded by witnesses, knowing every second you hesitate makes things worse for the people you love. Most of us think of seppuku as a noble choice, a final act of pride. But what if it wasn't a choice at all? What if it was one of the most effective tools of fear and obedience ever created? In this video, we're counting down the dark truth behind seppuku, from the parts history softened to the reality it was designed to hide. Number 10. Seppuku was not originally about honor. Seppuku did not begin as a sacred ritual. In its earliest form, it was a practical response to defeat. Warriors who faced capture chose death over torture or public execution, not because of philosophy, but because capture often meant humiliation and suffering far worse than death itself. Over time, this act was reframed. What began as desperation slowly became tradition, then expectation. As ruling classes gained power, the meaning shifted from survival to symbolism. Death was no longer just an escape. It became a statement others could control. And once death could be given meaning by those in power, it stopped being personal. That shift is where the real danger began. Number 9. Most samurai did not choose seppuku freely. Popular stories suggest samurai volunteered for seppuku to restore honor. In reality, many were ordered to do it, a command disguised as a privilege. Refusal was almost never an option, because refusing carried consequences far worse than death. When a lord ordered seppuku, it preserved appearances. The samurai was spared public execution, and the ruling authority avoided backlash. But the outcome was the same: death carried out under pressure, framed as dignity. And once seppuku became a sanctioned punishment, it stopped being about the individual and started serving the system. Number 8. Seppuku functioned as an execution without rebellion. Public executions often create martyrs. Seppuku did the opposite. It made the condemned participate in their own punishment. By forcing compliance, it erased resistance and turned death into a lesson. The ritual was structured to remove sympathy. Witnesses observed in silence. The act followed strict rules. Any deviation was seen as disgraceful. Even suffering had to look controlled. And when punishment looks orderly, people stop questioning authority. That quiet obedience was exactly the point. Number 7. Refusing seppuku endangered your entire family. A samurai's decision did not affect only him. If he refused an order to commit seppuku, his family could lose land, status, and protection. In some cases, they faced exile or execution themselves. This created an impossible choice: die and spare your family, or live and destroy them. Under those conditions, compliance was inevitable. The ritual worked because it weaponized love and responsibility. At that point, seppuku was no longer about honor. It was about leverage. Number 6. The ritual was designed to be psychologically crushing. Everything about seppuku was meant to amplify pressure. The setting was formal. Witnesses were present. The samurai was expected to remain calm, composed, and precise, even while facing death. Hesitation was shameful. Mistakes were humiliating. Fear had to be hidden. This forced the individual to internalize responsibility for their own destruction, reinforcing obedience even in death. And when control reaches the mind, the body follows. That's what made the ritual so effective. Number 5. A second was there to ensure completion. Many believe seppuku involved dying slowly as proof of resolve. In reality, a second stood by to end the act. This person was trusted to act at the correct moment, neither too early nor too late. The presence of a second reveals an important truth. The ritual was not about endurance, it was about completion. The system required the outcome, not the suffering. Even death itself was managed. Nothing was left to chance. Number 4. Seppuku was often staged for political convenience. High-ranking samurai and political rivals were frequently ordered to commit seppuku to quietly remove them from power. This avoided rebellion, sympathy, or unrest. The death appeared honorable, not suspicious. History often recorded these deaths as dignified conclusions, erasing the political motivations behind them. The ritual allowed power struggles to end cleanly, without blood on the ruler's hands. And once history is written that way, the truth disappears behind ceremony. Number 3. The ritual punished shame more than crime. Seppuku was not reserved for criminals. It was often ordered for failure, embarrassment, or loss of face. Losing a battle, displeasing a superior, or becoming inconvenient could be enough. This created a culture where fear of disgrace outweighed fear of death. Maintaining appearance became more important than justice or truth. In that world, honor wasn't moral. It was performative. Number 2. Seppuku became a tool to enforce obedience across society. By glorifying ritual death, leaders reinforced a message. Loyalty mattered more than life. Submission was virtuous. Resistance was shameful. Samurai learned early that questioning authority could cost everything. The ritual didn't just control individuals. It shaped behavior long before death was ever on the table. Honor became a mechanism, and mechanisms don't care about humanity. Number 1. The noble claim of seppuku was created after the violence ended. The most romantic versions of seppuku emerged later, during peaceful eras when the samurai class needed justification to exist. Philosophers and writers reshaped the past, turning obedience into virtue and coercion into choice. What had been a tool of control was recast as a sacred act. History was cleaned, fear was forgotten, only symbolism remained. The truth is this: seppuku was not designed to honor life. It was designed to manage power, silence dissent, and ensure obedience, even at the cost of everything. Seppuku survives in memory because it feels meaningful. But meaning was assigned after the fact, long after the pressure, fear, and coercion were gone. Understanding that doesn't diminish history, it reveals it. And once you see seppuku for what it truly was, you start to question how many other honorable traditions were really systems of control, waiting for someone to finally look closer.